Yo, my name's James, and my real name is obviously James Dean. And I want to talk about HYDE Park. Yeah, I was sort of like watching, taking watching what was going on, and around me shit was happening. But I want to say a little bit about myself before I go on about that. Yeah, well, me, when I was born, yeah, my dad was a drug smuggler. That's no bullshit. My dad was actually a drug smuggler. He got caught in France. I was about 4 or 5 years old, and he had a petrol tank full of hash. This is 100% true. I could probably look up, I grabbed my sister and grabbed all the information, looked up all the things, got all these, because he's like basically he's been like a real naughty person, yeah, like breaking the law, selling drugs, like importing drugs, and then like robbing stuff and all that, just doing the usual kind of criminal stuff like cars, um, motorbikes mainly. But that was a bit later on in time. But it was mainly in hashing in robberies and stuff like that kind of stuff, and beating heroin addicts up and nonces up. Like obviously when he was in prison and. Heroin addicts, like he used to jump out and beat them up anyway, yeah. But we come to that in a minute, yeah. Well, like years going on, I find out he's a heroin addict at the age of 12 years old, yeah. And at the age of 12 years old, he found out he's a heroin addict and that lot. And then, do you know what I mean? His life just went downhill, like, because he was obviously a heroin addict before then, but you should gradually start to see him getting worse and worse and worse, and the addiction just grabbing hold of him and shit like that. And like basically like heroin is just like the devil's drug. I hate the stuff, man. I hate the stuff. It actually ruins people. It ruined him from inside out. He changed to a totally different person. He's a scumbag, do you know what I mean? He turned to be a scumbag by the age of 15. I didn't have nothing to do with him, but there's plenty of stuff to that because I got strip searched at the age of 12 years old for having heroin on me because he cuddled me and that lot, and they thought he slipped me and passed me heroin. So I got strip searched at the age of 12 years old and that lot for heroin and that. This is all like the honest truth, man. And basically my mum didn't know about this stuff, like kind of kept it quiet and shit. Do you know what I mean? I think she knew I got strip searched and all that. Like I'm sure she did know that, but basically used to take us on drug runs and all sorts. You know what I mean? And like heroin's a naughty thing, yeah. And my things about class A drugs, about all this like lean and all this like other stuff, yeah. I hate it, yeah. And I was sitting there at HYDE Park just like watching it going on, like people talking and all that lot, and then listening to the actual people there. Do you know what I mean? Because we're there for weed and we're there for like to show people, like to show the police and to show all that, like we come together and like you ain't stopping us kind of thing and all that, like kind of like a bit like a protest in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because it's still against the law in England. Do you know what I mean? Even though they were saying medical and there was people that have been prescribed, but I've only heard of one person being prescribed medical weed, and that was Carly, and you had to pay like 2,600 for the first, I think for the first one or something like that. Anyway, something like that. Shut up. And and I was watching that, and I was just getting on with watching HYDE Park and all that lot. And then my sister, I said to me after, "Didn't you hear?" And I said, "What? Didn't you hear them kids talking about lean?" About getting a bottle of lean. One of them was saying, "Oh, it's 70 quid," and the other one said, "Yeah, I can get it for 45." And the mad thing is, I just don't understand. Like this here, yeah, it's THC, yeah, pure THC, yeah. There is actually something that you can see it there. It's only about there. And this is pure THC, yeah. And this is the same price as a bottle of lean, yeah. So if you're gonna drink a bottle of lean, why don't you just drink a bottle of THC? Because I can guarantee you, it will get you smashed, yeah. And you're hearing people talk, and I'm hearing this, tss, tss, and I thought it was like something behind. Like I didn't know what it was. I just thought I kept catching me, yeah. And then I caught it, and it was loads of people sucking on gas, yeah. Like my mum's got COPD. She's a straight head. She didn't never touch drugs or anything. She smoked once, and that was it. But she's just a straight head, and she's never touched anything, yeah, and she should smoke fags, yeah. Smoke fags, and like basically she's got COPD and she's got lungs. She has proper bad breathing problems. So these motherfuckers what are doing all these gas and that lot, and they're doing all this, yeah, and then whatever else they're sticking in their lungs, and if their weed ain't exactly say like organic, or if their weed ain't ground properly, or if they're getting like organised crime weed, because it is out there, and that's the cheap nasty stuff, yeah, and I've actually seen some of that shit, yeah, and I've been like, what the fuck is that, man? Do you know what I mean? What are you smoking that for? Do you know what I mean? And some people just buy it because they sell it and it's cheap, do you know what I mean? And they prefer cheap shit, yeah? But fuck cheap shit, do you know what I mean? If you can make more money on it, fuck that. That's just bad for your lungs. So you got these kids probably smoking that and dodgy shit. And then they're sucking all this gas and sucking all this smoke and fags. I know I sound like an old cunt and that lot. And then they're doing gas or whatever the fuck it is. I'm sure it's gas, man, or some shit, yeah. And they're sucking this, and they're like filling up balloons and shit like that as well. So it's that fucking thing. And they're doing it in these canisters as well. This other shit, yeah. I'm sure it's another type of gas, whatever. And then you hear them talking about lean and shit, and they're the same people what are doing the gas, do you know what I mean? Because all the ones what are all into this organic weed and smoking organic weed and all that lot, we ain't fucking touching gas. I ain't touching gas, man. If I'm smoking proper gassy weed, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, gas. I ain't talking about smoking gas, like sucking gas. What do you think I am, some kind of idiot, man? What do you think I'm, some kind of retard? I don't touch that shit, mate. That ain't me, yeah? I'm all about the medical bullshit, man. Medical, yeah, fuck that shit, man. I'm all about organic good shit. Like, I want to put good shit in my body. I've colitis and Crohn's. I've got 2 bulge discs, do you know what I mean? Like, my colitis and Crohn's helps, the cannabis helps that so much. It's just like, bang on, yeah. I've just eventually gave up my tablets, and I want to see about that. Go about growing the weed. And then drinking the leaves, like juicing the leaves so I can drink the leaves. Because I've heard people say that. But no one really says how they actually do it. They just say, yeah, I drink the leaves and I do that. Yeah, but what else do you do? Do you know what I mean? Do you smoke as well? Do you fucking dab? Do you drink oils? Do you drink the fimmy? Do you do it all? Do you know what I mean? Or do you just drink the leaves? Or do you know what I mean? And because obviously I do it all because I like it all, yeah. But the leaves probably taste disgusting. But I'm all into organic. I'm all into goodness and all that bullshit, yeah? Because I'm not into all that. I hate class hates. I hate all that stuff. It ruins people's life. It fucks up their shit, yeah? It's just why the fuck do you want to touch lean? Yeah, lean is liquid heroin. Liquid heroin, motherfuckers. Yeah? Do not touch that shit. Dab some shit, man. Dab. Get shatter. Drink pure THC. That will get you fucked out of your face. If you're getting oils and you're drinking it and you're not getting fucked out of your face, it's because obviously it's not oils. Obviously you're getting ripped off. It's shit weed. It's shit whatever, man. You're probably just drinking coconut oil and thinking, yeah, man. But nah, like fucking nah, bollocks, man. Like fucking all organic. And this work is Colchester Medical Cannabis Club, and I'm starting up membership and that. I've got to get the membership shit sorted out, so then I can actually put membership on my Instagram and all that lot, and like fucking, and like have it on my Instagram, so then people like obviously come to I'm trying to find something as well. Colchester Medical Cannabis Club, and then for me, and they could be a member, and then I can have dudes like, not obviously as big as the one in HYDE Park and all that kind of shit, and get all stoners together, and it can be like, I like to do it on private land, so then it can have actually all the smokers can smoke, and then if there's anyone acid, and if there's, I'm not against acid, yeah, not at all, yeah, but like, there's time and place for that, do you know what I mean? And like, magic mushrooms and a few other, I suppose trips are alright because they are like a happy people, do you know what I mean? You don't want cocaine there, you don't want other drugs there, do you know what I mean? You don't want drugs that are going to ruin it, do you know what I mean, for other people. Like, you don't want people who are there drinking lean, do you know what I mean, at a cannabis event, do you know what I mean? I know them events they don't, but at this one, at HYDE Park, they fucking were, man. They were getting it, do you know what I mean? And they were bringing it there. And we left about, like, 5, like, and then got home and all that, like, do you know what I mean? And, like, got back to Colchester, because we're only, like, an hour or so away from it. So, like, fucking, there's kids there doing lean and shit. That's the deadly shit, man. You need to stop doing that shit. You need to join up with some clubs, get to know them, yeah, and then they will help you, and then you can get these oils, and you can get all this, but you have to get to know them. You can't just jump there and say, oh, can you get us weed? And people don't know you, we don't know who you are, we don't know this, we don't know that, do you know what I mean? We're not into that. We're not into all that, yeah? But if you get to know us and you're friends with us, and then, do you know what I mean? I won't sell you shit, but I can introduce you to people, do you know what I mean? And all that crap, do you know what I mean? So it's not like, so it's like, you got to be a member, do you know what I mean? You got to be a member of these things, and you got to get to know people and show your face, do you know what I mean? And when you've shown your face, and then people can, like, do you know what I mean? They talk to you and they help you, and they help you cancer. If you've got cancer patients, they help you. Do you know what I mean? That's what us clubs are about. We're about clubs united together, about being together. It's about helping each other. It's about being stoneheads, not crackheads, smackheads, and all that lot, or out to stab you in the back and shit on you like I've had. Do you know what I mean? I ain't just got a dad what's a heroin addict. My brother's a heroin addict. His mum's a heroin addict. That's not my mum, but his mum's a heroin addict. My uncle's a heroin addict. I've got a massive family, by the way. There's only like 5 members or some shit. A cousin, another cousin what died of heroin. He actually OD'd of heroin, of a needle. My dad died of a heroin overdose recently. That was just before my birthday. That was it was 2 days after my birthday, so it's about 27th. No, that's my uncle's. The 28th or some shit. It was round about that he died of November 2018. Yeah, 18. Yeah, and he died. Yeah, I'm not bothered about that because he died when I was younger, when I was 15, and I got rid of him and I didn't have nothing to do with him. He died then anyway, because when you're on heroin, it just kills a person and you're just not the same person. So, like, and I don't understand that, because, like, this shit, man, can comatise you and fuck you up. Just not saying just as much, yeah, but heroin addicts are getting off heroin, I'm hearing, because of THC, pure THC. So, must smash you the fuck out. So, if you're smashing you can get smashed the fuck off this, like, proper smash. But I know it's expensive in England, but when it's legalised and it's all done properly, and then when it's all legalised, HYDE Park can be done properly, it can be all run properly, you can have actually people walking around, listening, so then people don't OD or fucking lean, and then it'll be like, oh, look at this cannabis event, rah, 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 ODing off lean, that's not setting a good example. Well, it's, do you know what I mean? That's making us look bad, man. You're making us look like a bunch of retards. I know no one actually organised that event, and it sort of like randomly appears kind of shit, do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like just a bunch of people come together and then bang, it's there, do you know what I mean? It's not like proper organised. Do you know what I mean? I could be wrong on that, do you know what I mean? Don't quote me happy on that. But it needs to be policed properly, it needs to be done properly, it needs to be like a £5 ticket, a £10 ticket, like £5 ticket, or some kind of donation. So even if everyone done £1, yeah, and there was like a charity box going around and people were chucking pounds in, yeah, and how many people were there? Do you know what I mean? If there was over 1 million people, do you know what I mean? Look at it. It could be even if 100 people, 200 people, 200,000 people put in £1. It's £200,000. Do you know what I mean? And then it can be organised, and then it can be run properly, and it can be policed properly, where people ain't drinking lean, they ain't doing this, do you know what I mean? They can munch on magic mushrooms, but it's a weed event, we're there to be weed. Leave all the other shit at home, yeah, or do it just before you go, yeah, eat it just before you get there, so then you come up when you're there, or don't eat it at all, because it's kind of like making the weed event look bad. We're not even legalised it yet. When it's legalised, then people can be munching on shit, and then they can be getting nicked like retards if they want to. But like, them kind of things are for like, I know it is a festival and magic mushrooms and all that lot are for festivals, but this is more like a legalisation, like to get stuff legal, to say, look, do you know what I mean? You need to legalise it because of this. But then the police are sitting there seeing people munching on mushrooms, munching on drinking lean and this and that, and they're like, well, if that's the kind of people, do you know what I mean? What next are they going to go and try and get legalised? And what next? And what next? And what next? Do you know what I mean? I know all drugs should be legalised, because maybe my old man would be alive, and maybe he would have got better help, and there would have been a heroin centre where they can do it and they can do clean stuff, because nowadays, like, there's kids coming in selling heroin. I was about to do a dab. There's kids coming in selling heroin, and they don't touch heroin, they don't sell it. They're Londoners coming down here and they're selling heroin in Colchester. And they're selling heroin and they don't touch heroin. They're doing it for the money, yeah, because they're making like 15 grand in a day. This is no bullshit. 15 grand in a day, yeah? Like, coming down here, bang. They're banging it out. They're banging it out so much that people have started dying down here. There was one kid, like, that got killed. He got 17 and he got killed by a 20-year-old. And this is Londoners. I don't exactly know their names, but I heard this from smackheads and from this and that and from heroin addicts. And this, I ain't heard it myself, but I heard it from someone, and this is all like 100% information. This ain't no Chinese whispers bullshit, do you know what I mean? I've got heroin addict family members. I don't have nothing to do with them, but I still hear all the shit, do you know what I mean? I still hear shit, do you know what I mean? So like, and there's kids killing kids, do you know what I mean? Because it's 15 grand a day, man. Obviously they're not making 15 grand a day, but they're selling 15 grand's worth, and they're going back to London and all that. I think I should shut my mouth in a way, but yeah, but like, it's bad shit, man. So then they give it to the heroin addicts, and then like basically like that, like, they do it and they don't tell them, like, when my old man used to sell heroin, yeah, and like he used to say, oh, this is a strong bit, you better watch yourself. I can remember, yeah, because I remember him selling to people, and he'd say, oh, watch it, it's a strong bit, don't do a thing. He'd tell people, and you feel me, that's why the drug centres need to be there for people to sell them the drugs and to tell them, like, feel me, and then they do it there, and then they go off and they get off, and then they come back for another stop, kind of a bit like a chemist when you go for your methadone, yeah, and then you come back, and that's how it should be, do you know what I mean? Because like, fucking, there's a problem, because there's kids selling shit what they don't know what's in it, because they're not taking it themselves, so they don't know it's strong. So like back in the day, when I was younger, that heroin would sell, they would pass the message all the way down. So then that's why there was less ODs, do you know what I mean? Not unless some heroin addict was pissed off with another heroin addict and he wanted to sell him some dodgy heroin and kill him, and then wrap him up in a carpet. Then, well, do you know what I mean? That shit happens, do you know what I mean? But that was a rare kind of case of OD, not unless you got Franco, I think it's Wacko Franco or something like that. The cunt's died more times than fucking Jesus, do you know what I mean? Or for anyone, do you know what I mean? He's OD'd like 10 times, and every ambulance person knows who Wacko Jacko is. Everyone knows in the ambulance servants who that is. That dude's died more times than anyone, but he does it on the streets, and like he ODs on the streets, and then he gets all fimmy where my old man died in her like flat, do you know what I mean? It's just like, heroin just ruins you and it just kills you. He was dead before he even touched that. Like, that's why they need centres, so they can do it there, and they can be sensible, it can be safe, the money can go back into society, instead of all these millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds was getting into organised crime. And it's just like, do you know what I mean? And legalise weed, and we can get shit on the way, and sort this problem out with some shit, man. Educate people and show them, if you want to get that smashed and you want to ruin your life that bad, yeah, take that much THC each day and you will get smashed out of your face. You don't need to do that stuff. That heroin will kill you in the end. That's waiting around like a shark, circling you, just waiting for you, do you know what I mean? And poof, it's going to get you, and you're going to die, man. I've seen loads of people die from heroin overdose and shit, and it's just not a good thing. It's not nice. It's not nice. People need to stay away from it. They need to be woken up. Really, that's all I've got to say. Support cannabis clubs. Believe me, they want good things. We want good things. We don't just want to fuck you over and take your money and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? The government need to sort things out, and people need to stand up and like say how it is, innit? Do you know what I mean? Peace.